Okay. This is my digital artwork. Yay! Howdy, y'all. This is Hawkeye Two Feathers, David Nolan Company, and coming to you live, I guess, for about the 5th time. Man, I made it. It's 1:02. The internet's gone nuts tonight, and whatever's going on. Holy cramolies. Here we go. Some more stuff going weird. Man, now I don't know if any of y'all might come by and to, say chit chat with me. Oh man, I want that chat thing to be open, but I want this part to be. Yeah, I got into this earlier, and come to find out, I was not even broadcasting. I was like, huh? Yeah. This Google thing, man. And it's sort of like oh shoot, never mind. Anyway, I'm trying to I want to go to YouTube. Oh wait. Where's my is that the link? I'm trying to find the link for what I'm doing so I can invite somebody. Okay, that's what I was trying to do. Now see down here on the bottom, there's supposed to be little marks when your program's on, and now it ain't. Let's see. Is this my how do you? I want to do the invite thing. All right. What's this? Invite people. Share the permanent link on that. Let's see if I can get this right here. Press Control C. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to put this in here, go that, and go Control V. Bing. And then hit return. Okay. All right. Now, I was just on... I was going to try to be a little bit more prepared when I came on to do my Midnite Ramblings tonight. And it's been just so really strange with I'm in the middle of watching this video by the Underground Resistance Network, right? And so I'm downstairs and I've been having some issues with my brain. And so my brain was telling me I had to lie down and, take a break. So I said, oakley dokley. So I put this on my Roku box to watch it and said, ooh, looky here. What are they talking about this? And oh, man, shoot. I wish I could get up and go join the chat, right? So I'm getting up. I get my coffee and putzing around a little bit, trying to feel better, right? Yeah. And so then all of a sudden, they get to the part here on this video, which I'm trying to figure out how to share, but Lori's talking about the guillotines and in the United States, and that there are 30,000 guillotines. And so years ago, several people, they were like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, nah, let me do some checking. So I did. Now this has been, let's see, it's been at least 3 years. So I go Google checking. Hey, let me check this out here. What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden it's like, there they are. Meaning there are the guillotines.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this edition of...
I'm sorry, that's Lori in the background. I'm from the... hush, quiet. Sorry. Quiet. I didn't mean to do that.
This is Uncensored.
Oh yeah, it's going to get raw too.
Oh.
My name's Lori Alexander.
And then it won't let me turn it off. Okay.
Tonight about
Hush!
the asylum. And we decided that we wanted to come out and talk to you guys about some breaking news with Obama.
It won't stop. Maybe that's a good thing. Yeah, it's still running it. Yeah. See, and I was trying to pause the daggum thing. Anyway, so because I was trying to find the spot in the video that she was talking about the guillotines, right? And so I'm watching it on Roku, thinking, yeah, everything's cool, everything's great, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, she says, yeah, there's 30 million, guillotines, and that each one is capable of, chopping off X amount of heads, and and it's like, what? And then all of a sudden, when she gets to that part, the Roku freezes. I mean, just cuts her off. And I was like, wait a minute now. And now I know I'm out here in the swamp and all this other kind of good stuff. But, seriously, folks. I mean, I upgraded my system down here because I was like barely getting like, what is it? Let's see, 1 meg up. And I was getting like maybe, I was like dial up, you guys, okay? And so it was like horrible times 9. And so I said, okie dokie, I'm gonna, what is this? I don't know what just happened. Ah, shoot. And I'm sorry. I'm trying to look at, it won't let me look at my live event. I know, it's weird. It's like, can I like watch it? Maybe, I wanted to see if I was coming across okay and how nasty it was. Well, there's the picture. I just muted myself, Quiet. I didn't know if anybody had come over. See if I was coming across okay. Yeah, see, there we go. Come on, doggone it. How nasty it was. Is this thing skipping on? Is this muted myself? Is this thing skipping on its own? My apologies, folks. I didn't know if anybody had come over. You hit the pause button and it doesn't pause. You hit the mute button and it doesn't mute. You hit the what? Wow, what a crummy video. No wonder I don't have any views. I'll just say hi in that chat because I'm still trying to learn how to do this. And I wanted to share some of the stuff that I found. However, it's difficult for me to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. Pretty much anyway. And so on this little window here for the Google thing, it's showing, oh, Dave, you look pretty on the video screen. Ooh, but then when I go to the YouTube, look, I know I'm a piece of work, 64 years old, been put through the ringer so many times that they had to reinvent a new ringer for me, Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, I think we got some of this moved around. Okay, so I saved or shared the link with some other folks, and I don't know if they're going to want to come over and chat. They check it they chatting about some other stuff, which is okay. I must be the viewer. It says I got a viewer. Yeah, okay. I think that's me, huh? All right, so let me try this share thing. Let's see. Where was I headed? Man, it got me all confused. Because I was trying to find where that link was. And so that I could share it with folks. And I wanted to make sure oh, I didn't click that little button. See, and it's not showing me. It's like now Lori pretty good about posting stuff in the chat or whatever. And how about that? I'm trying to share this thing and, do the Facebook thing and do this and da and come on, silly bird. Alrighty then. And then do that, post to Facebook. There we go. I was trying to get all this stuff done beforehand. But then when I got onto this channel, and wow, why isn't it not showing where she put some of her links? Because that's what I was going to do. I was going to go, okay, Miss Lori said she was going to put some of those links and everything up underneath down here, and they ain't none there. How about that? I say. Oh, this is the 24/7 chat. Ooh, I'm on the wrong one. This might work. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm still learning. Yes, I am. Okay, I gave that a thumbs up. Oh, I'm supposed to show more. Yeah, which is what I wanted. Special guest Jeffrey Lehman from Asylum News. All right, and that was all. The links are in the description section under the video. Description. There aren't any. How come there's not more? Wow. Okay. Where are the? There's no link. Okay, let me go and share this on Facebook anyway, because I want to. And I don't know if anybody's added live yet or not. So just if you are there and you want to chat, what do you call it? To the G thing hangout business mess stuff. I can't get the window to stay on, and I can't see if anybody else is. Nope, there ain't no chats. Okay, so let me put a thing here and go hi. All right. So this is where I'm headed with this. I did radio way back in the day when it was real radio. There was no, they had teletype machines, and a fax machine was like a high density thing, like woo. And it's like, well, okay. So, however, you know, I worked with radio stations. I worked with a little, I say it was underground. It was basically just at, I don't know, it might have only been 1,000 watts. And down in Tampa, that's not going to go far. However, if you've only got a 20-mile radius in a large town, that could be a sizable amount of folks. So, but anyway, I learned how to get on the radio. And then when I moved up here to Georgia, I worked at various different jobs, and I did a little bit of public announcement and stuff like that at some various games and like Special Olympics and stuff like that. Well, when I was growing up in high school, I used to do all the football game. I'm sorry. Go back. I used to do the track meets and some of the other special events as far as being an announcer. Okay. And so I've had experience in public speaking since I was a sophomore in high school in 1967, 68 kind of relationship back in the day. So I am a child of the 60s, hung around with real hippies back in the day, not all this fake mumbo jumbo stuff that people are trying to put off now. And from that old hippie state, let me tell you about something else now too. This hippie state business, if folks had really taken to the Back to the Earth movement, it would have been a whole lot. We would be in a better place right now, because back before it was even fashionable, I was doing, no-till gardening and not putting pesticides on things. And I mean, this is 73, 74. I started with this mess with organic gardening. I've got a couple of the first Mother Earth news. I mean, great big, huge magazine type things. And in it, every month is packed with stuff. I went out with a friend of mine for a place out here that had about 20 acres, and we sawed down trees with a crosscut saw. I'm talking about the old way, chopped it up, skinned the logs, and started building him a log house. Well, two people building a log house. We didn't really know. We were like looking at the pictures, trying to figure it out. We didn't have any information. And let me tell you what, them folks in the old day knew some tricks. Let me tell you. And if we had followed along with, let me just say the philosophy, hey, make love, not war. There ain't nothing wrong with that. We kill more people, of course. Now, the other side of that coin is if you make love all the time, you're going to be overpopulated before it's too late, right? So anyway, but it's still a lot of fun. You can make arrangements. Oh, I love my coffee, yeah. So back during them days, we wanted to respect Mother Earth. Way before it was fashionable. We were doing it because it just, even back in that day, it was important. I don't know how else to put it. It was important. There's nobody standing over you with a gun. Roundup had not become a big issue. There were not GMO foods at the time, but they was working on it. And there was also Walt Disney. I had the opportunity to go to Walt Disney World. It was not even officially opened. Okay. And it was gotta have been 1971 because I was out of high school. And so they had a big push for folks to go to work over there, right? Man, I'm like, hey, I want to go be Donald Duck or something, So off we go, right? A friend of mine and I mean, we went over to Orlando. And I mean, back then, Kissimmee was a little old tiny town with a bunch of little old trailers and old oak trees, It ain't that down. Neither is Orlando. But so anyway, we went down there and applied. And if you applied, they let you in to the park with back then they had little stub tickets, So they let us go into the park. Now, the mountain wasn't done yet. Space Mountain, it was still in the process. There were a couple other things that weren't quite working right. I mean, it's a small world after all. We got stuck. I am not lying. We were halfway, approximately, in our little boat. It's a small world after all. And I think like we were halfway between like the Koreans and the Chinese, and they're going, ding. I'm not making fun. Whatever in their language. 20 minutes we were stuck in there. And I mean, we were all like, I don't want to hear that song anymore. It was really torture. It really was. I mean, it was really fun to ride through there, but it's a small world after all. Holy moly. Well, at the time, they were developing Epcot Center. It was an ongoing thing. They were doing Disney World, but with Disney World also, and whatever folks want to call Walt Disney as far as being a pedophilia or whatever, blah, 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 and MK Ultra, I'm not sure about that. Well, okay, but it makes sense. Little mouses and everything. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of subjective stuff in the things that Walt put out. But now the other side of the coin, what Walt Disney started with the Epcot Center and their idea of how to grow things. I mean, they grow lettuce. It never touches ground. It goes into a little clamp along with a bunch of other ones, and they're on conveyor belts. And the little things come by, and there's light. And these conveyor belts are miles long, really. They just wind around, and they go through these little spraying units. And when they come through the unit, it mists them and sprays them with water. And you can just hear them singing, but then off they go on down the line, right? So these lettuce never touch the dirt. Never. I mean, they're literally like stacked. So in a way, I'm like, that's just plumb stupid. But maybe not. Because what's happened in watching the earth since, I've been here in South Georgia since 1973. And what's going on down here in South Georgia and what they've done to the land and how I've watched trees come and go. I've been on my piece of property now for 35 years. And I'm here to tell you, I've lost more trees on my property in the last 3 years than I have in 30 years. All at one time. I'm talking about oak trees, this big around, hardwood trees, some of them this big around, and I'm talking skunk. They're dying, dead. Now, holy moly, goodness gracious. Now, what is going on here? Well, they're throwing out all kinds of stuff on us. They're, we can look up in the sky and tell that, hey, boss man, they throwing stuff out there in the universe, and by golly, if I didn't know better, those are chemtrails. Well, long before folks anybody ever said anything about a chemtrail, I've worked in machining and worked as a machinist in machine shops. And if you work around milling machines and especially grinders, the dust gets in the air and you can't help it. Well, you're grinding all these metals and things, and after a while, depending on what you're doing, you can taste it. You're working around your machine and you got your head down in the grinder and everything, and sure, you got metal flaking off in tiny little particulates, and it's turning into a dust. And even though you got a dust fan thing sucking most of it up, there's still some in the air. And so I've been telling people, I'm like, I went to the doctor, and I've known my doctor for 20 years, and I'm like, Doc, what the hell is with this metallic taste? Well, I don't know. Let's check your symptoms. Well, my symptoms, I'm fine. Well, sort of. But why am I tasting metal? So now I'm start checking on, well, what's this business about chemtrails? Well, people taste metal. They walk outside their front door, they taste metal. Well, that's what I was doing. And when I retired and I'm home most of the time, I'm like, well, I don't have any reason for tasting metal. I just went out in the garden, you know. Why am I tasting metal? I don't know. So I decided, I'm like, well, let me do some more checking. Well, the more I checked into the chemtrail business and the more I seen that the folks out west, now we're getting it here too, but folks don't bitch about it. And I don't know whether or not it's because we've been bombarded with so much aerial spraying over the years with the cotton and everything that we have down here. God bless the farmers, but y'all quit spraying that cotton. Man, you just have no idea what you're doing to us. So I've been complaining about, you know, aerosols in the air. I mean, you know, when you see a crop duster coming across the field and there's spray coming out the back, you know, and I got a lot of respect for crop dusters because I've always wanted to fly. I used to fly with my pillow, but so I love watching crop dusters. Those folks have got some huevos cojones, man. So, but it's really cool, except when you think about the gallons of stuff coming out the back. Well, I lived in a house near Berlin, Georgia. Beautiful old house. Shame it burned down many years ago. A ghost saved me, I might add. They sprayed that area, but because there was growing cotton up there on that hill, and I worked a second shift. Well, they sprayed it early that morning, and by the time I could wake up good, there was nowhere for me to go because my house sat almost on top of this little hill, and so they had sprayed all around it. There was nowhere for me to go. All I could do was breathe in that stuff, and I've had a high toxicity level of chemicals since then. I mean, it's just like, don't open bleach around me. It will literally make me hit the floor, you know? And people are like, well, Dave, you know, bleach is the only thing. No, honey child, use ammonia. Don't mix ammonia and Clorox. You're going to have a problem. But if you use ammonia, ammonia wakes you up. Ammonia is good for your garden. Clorox ain't good for nothing except disinfecting things. And when you get done, everything's just dead. Ammonia, on the other hand, will kill all kinds of bacteria, and it's really nice for the environment versus Clorox killing stuff, okay? Really toxic. And to think I used to pour it in my well, none of that no more, I tell you. Where was I headed with that? Oh, so the ground has been changing, the earth has been changing. I've been watching trees fall down. We used to have fish in my little river in the back. Beautiful little river. Man, shoot. Used to flow all the time. Not up, but flowed. It would slow down in the summer times when it's dry, but we used to have thunderstorms. Man, June, July, and into August, you could set your watch by thunderstorms in the afternoon. Not anymore, because they're using HARP. HARP is the antenna array that they use to move, push, or otherwise create clouds. And just do some check on it. Mike Morales has got some stuff on some videos that he did back when we had the big hurricane over the summer. And you can literally see the microwave patterns in the tops of the clouds. And dummies. The newscaster, the weather person, what are they doing? They are looking at it going, those are birds up there that make those little fluttery things on the tops of the clouds. Now, the wind speed was 150 miles an hour. Okay. And here's all this. He's trying to explain birds got sucked up into the top of the hurricane and that the radar was picking up, and he even used his arms in a flapping motion to show the viewers that that's how the birds got onto the radar on the hurricane. You talk about a dumbass. Oh my God. On national television. And this guy, I know he's getting paid for it, but in good conscience, I would puke. I would laugh. I would pee myself. Something would happen, but I would not be allowed to get it across in a straight face, especially doing the flying thing with his arms. Oh my God, I thought I was going to die. So Anyway, so I've been watching the river now. So now the river don't flow. It don't flow on a regular basis. And there is enough hill up above me, and from surrounding areas I have found over the years, there, if it rains, just what used to be normal, then there is enough groundwater that there are, they call them seasonal springs. And I kind of think, well, seasonal, it's seasonal if it rains. But back in the day, when it used to rain all the time on a fairly regular basis, you could count on the water being there. And so I had several places on my property where, where the hill's coming down and water would literally seep out of the side of the hill and create a little wet spot right there. And you could dig right down, and I mean only about that far, and end up with water, and I mean clean water, not stagnant stuff, but clean water. And so it's like, whoa, howdy, this is cool. Well, now, then the drought started coming and coming and coming. And the river has been more dry this last 10 years. Well, actually, yeah, about 2003. 2002, 2003, we had a really bad drought up here. And the reason I know that was because that's about the last time I've been down inside my well. And so last time I had to dig it. Well, now there's water in the well this time. We've had some short durations, but there is water in the well now. Thank you goodness. Now, but I hand dug this thing to 20 foot, with help now from my friends. However, down in the bottom, the sides want to cave in. So why am I telling you this about the well? Well, it has to do with the fact that I can go in the ground and see where the water level is. Okay, when I look down in my hole down there in the ground, I can tell how good the water level is on the whole hillside, because the water pressure in the hill creates what's called hydraulic pressure. And so the hydraulic pressure pushes down, squirts the water out, or into a well if it's an open hole. And so that's how I know where there's water at, and whether or not the water on the hillside is any good. And so which is good information if you're looking at the fact that well now. So the water's been down in the well. However, there's been more water in the well than there should be, because the river hasn't been running in my backyard. Now you say, well, Hawkeye, what difference does that make? Well, it's interesting to know that there's not enough water to get to the river. But I do have enough water in the hillside where I'm located to still give me enough hydraulic pressure for me to have water in my well. Now that sucks for the river and everything downstream. And I got video that I want to put up, but it might be a pain in the butt to do so. So that's one of the problems I've been having. I wanted to, I don't know how far I am into this thing. I need to set a timer. But anyway, I'm going to make this one short and start another one, because this one I have to change the context of the title. But referring back, where does all this, where's the land, and what's this about the trees and being a hippie? What's all that got to do with the law that Obama passed? Well, I'm sitting here talking to you now in a way that I might have talked to folks way back in the day when we had live radio. Well, they still have live radio, but So this is my medium. I'm trying to learn YouTube. I'm trying to learn doing live broadcast, because in the old days, that's what we did. They said, okay, Hawkeye, it's 1 o'clock, time for your show. Go on. You got a subject for today? Well, I told her to talk about aliens. Well, okay, but don't get too crazy, all right? And you just turn on the thing and start talking. And you give people your number. You say, hey, call me in, huh? You want to call. And so, I would hope that one of these days I could get some folks that I could chat with. I have invited people. I have put it out there and said, hey, you all, you want to come in live and chit chat with me? Come on, let's do this thing on this Google thing and let's chit chat. Because one of the things that I have found about YouTube, and I think it is great because we can communicate to one another. Now, you don't know me from Adam. I live down here in South Georgia. I'm 64 years old, graduate of Tampa Catholic High School. I was an engineer, machinist, carpenter, halfway plumber, electrician, all that kind of stuff. Jack of all trades, they called me. I have sailed ships, but I've not been in the Navy or any armed forces. I know how to sneak in the woods because we used to play sneak in the woods back when I was a kid. I've grown up in the swamps, although I love going to the mountains. Now, I've been in the mountains in 5 years because, well, last time I was up there, there was so many people up there in the mountains. It wasn't no fun. I mean, you couldn't go nowhere there wasn't somebody. And I was like, man, I just want to go down here and sit on the stream and be peaceful, and take in the good air and the good mountain air, a little peace and quiet. Shoot, all you got is dogs barking, horns honking and everything. And I'm like, man, 10 years ago, I used to go up there and, man, there wasn't nobody around. You could go up there and sit. Well, now that's been 5 years more. So I'm talking about like in 98, 99, and 2000. Them hills up there in North Georgia, well, there's only a little of them in South Carolina, and then, of course, North Carolina and Tennessee and all. In fact, I had a place that I had to rearrange myself while I'm sitting on this here chair. And so that I was actually looking at a place that used to be a way stop for Daniel Boone. Ain't lying. This thing was over the hill from Boone, North Carolina. Beautiful up there, I'm telling you, on the Tennessee side. And so at the time, there wasn't nobody up there. There wasn't no jobs and nothing like that. So it's kind of hard to go up there and live. But being a storyteller and a puppeteer, I thought maybe I could go up there, kind of not necessarily sell my place here, but have another place up there so I could go, not fancy. It could be a lot with a trailer on it. I'd be happy. As long as I was in the mountains. Well, now they done ruined them damn mountains to the point where, what? I don't want to go to the mountains no more. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I go up there and I see folks and I see the way that they are disrespecting the earth. Now, when I was growing up, there were a bunch of us was Boy Scouts. And you say, well, Boy Scouts, that was for a bunch of sissy fairies, blah, blah, blah. Well, I want to tell you something. The young folks, and I'm talking about even my son who's 42 years old, anybody below him, there are things that I knew just like, well, that was just common knowledge to all of us boys, at least growing up. And then a lot of the girls picked it up because they was either in the Girl Scouts or the Cub Scout version of the Girl Scouts. Anyway, I digress. But to the point of like, we were taught to go, hey, let's go camping. But when you go camping, you make sure that you pick up what you take. You leave nothing behind. And I mean, this is in the 60s, right? And now, woo, Sierra Club, it's a big deal. Oh, pack it in, pack it out. Well, of course. We were taught that was, you had to do it. It's what you did, I mean, if you go, oh, man, it just come to mind, I'm going to say it. If you go take a poop, you don't just get up when you're done. No, you wipe with something, right? Well, if you go to the woods and there ain't no paper cans or nothing there, then there shouldn't be no paper cans or nothing there when you leave. It's like wiping your butt. That's how we were taught. Folks ain't taught that no more. I was taught without going to powwows, without going to all, well, folks nowadays we call a bunch of new age hoodoo voodoo. I knew more about the Native American than I thought I did. And guess who taught it to me? The Boy Scout manual. How to track. How to keep an eye on stuff. Medicinal plants. Edible plants. how to make things, how to sticks and boughs and twine and vines and stuff like that. And you go, well, you know what? That's the same dang thing that the preppers are doing. It's what we learned in the Boy Scouts. We learned that as a base for our existence. You were a Boy Scout, so you knew how to tie certain knots. You might not have been quick about it, but you knew them. And you could do them behind your back, which is, backwards. You had to think in another. But anyway, but to the point, we could do these things. They were presented to us as fun. And most of us that I know that I have any contact with who have been in the Boy Scouts have always had a respect for Mother Earth, where folks who weren't in the Boy Scouts, they didn't have anything. Respect for who? I don't think so. And with that said, folks are like, are you kidding here? Huh? What is up with this? And so it's like, well, you know what? I'll tell you. I've had some folks come out here, and I invite them out. Hey, come on out. Hey, chop some firewood with me, and can you help me? Sure. And so some really fine young folks come out that I know, and God bless them. I mean it. God bless them. Thank you for coming out. Them poor kids like that. They tore off the head of one axe. Because if you get too close to your log and you chop, you're going to lose it. You're going to knock that head right off and snap it. I don't care. And it was a brand new handle almost. He's like, oh, man, I'm sorry. Oh, but I'll get you down. Just chill out. So then I give him these other, it's just, he knocked the head off my log splitter. That's what it was. But I got 2 or 3 of them log splitter heads or more. And I've also got an axe or 2, right? So I'll give you my axe, but it's got a red handle plastic thing, right? Well, he can't break that. Not yet. Well, now, he was very gracious in that he let me show him. But what I was trying to show him was stuff that I learned when I was 12 years old. I mean, because we joined the Boy Scouts, and we couldn't wait to join the Boy Scouts to get the heck out of, And back then, the city wasn't no big deal. It is now, man. Whew, you got to drive forever to get out of the city down there. And so all of Florida is a city, just about it, So these folks, I say, look, here's your log. Now, what you do is you take your log and you look in the top of it, and there'll be like what looks like cracks, and they are. And in the old days, some of them old men, they would say, hey, son, let me show you how to split this log without killing yourself and beating yourself to death, right? I said, okay. So this old man, he got 2 arms, but he uses 1. And it's a big old oak log. Now, it ain't real thick, which makes it easier. But they had cut this big old tree limb that had fallen in his front yard. Oh, man, them oak tree limbs was, I'm not lying, you could not put your arms around. And so, but he cut them up because it was in his front yard and in the way. So he was going to give me a couple of rounds of this oak from my fireplace because he seen me cut and I didn't have no chainsaw back then. So God bless him. He said, let me show you how to split this wood. Okay. See them cracks in there? Yeah. He goes, see that one heavier one? Yeah. He said, we call that the Widowmaker. I'm like, what? Yeah, that crack right there, we call that the Widowmaker. And I said, well, all right, now how come you call this crack in this log? And if you ever seen a log cut, and look at the grain, if it's dried long enough, you will see check mark cracks in it. I mean, even the densest, thickest wood will dry with some, even if it don't all go all the way through, they'll be on the ends. And so we look at that thing, and he said, watch this. One hand, whoosh, plat, bloop, split. and there was a sound to it. It was like a donk. He goes, yeah. And it was just split up. It had not fallen out, right? It's still a big old chunk of wood. He said, here you go. He said, now you see that other, there's two other check marking them Widowmakers there. He said, pick the next longest one and aim for that. I'm like, okay. So it was sort of like in the trees, you know. And over the years of cutting wood, it's almost a standard. You're going to get about 3 checks in a tree. If you cut that log certain length and you stack them up, etc., you're going to get a pattern. Now, they ain't going to be exactly, but what I'm saying is instead of 1 crack, 2 crack, or 4, you're going to get a high average of 3. I'm just saying. Just FYI. So, in going along with that now, so I looked at that thing and I'm aiming, man, I'm hitting all over that thing. And my axe is literally, boom, bouncing off of this oak. Now, if any of you ever split wood with an axe and you see your axe bounce off a piece of wood, you know what I'm talking about. Harder than a brick bat, I tell you, actually, yeah. So he said, son, he said, your brain sees that log, and your brain, now this is an old cruncher man now. This guy didn't go to college, okay? No offense. He had common knowledge. So he said, your brain knows where that crack is. Let your brain find the crack. All right now. Okay. This guy is Southern Baptist through and through, okay? Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying what kind of character he had. He was giving me hoodoo stuff back then. Yeah, hoodoo stuff. Hoodoo voodoo. Woo-hoo. The woo. Because he was explaining to me as an old man that if you just allow yourself to see it, your body knows where it is and it will find it. And I was like, huh? He goes, you know, son, he said, I've done a lot of roofing in my lifetime. Yes, sir. And he said, we always put 4 or 5 nails in every shingle. Yes, sir. He said, you know what that's like, son? Well, and a little bit. I hadn't worked in a high production volume like some of these guys was doing. He could set 4 nails, and I'm talking about the 1.5 inch nail. He could set 4 nails in a shingle on the roof faster than I could get 1.5 inch. I mean, I couldn't even. He had a thing where the nails is laid in his hand. He didn't even have to look. His hand knew where them nails were. Boom. He was like a dang machine. So I'd watch this guy, right? And so I knew what he was talking about. And he goes, your brain knows where the hammer is. Your brain knows where the nail of that, where the head of that nail is. And your brain knows how hard it has to swing it in order for that thing to go in there. And if your brain is brainy enough, it won't hit your fingers because it knows where them are and doesn't want to pinch you. Well, now that's just plumb sweet. Right? Right? Okay. Well, that was in 1974. The year my son was born. Yeah, actually, it was that fall of 74, going into 75. Now, I look at that and I think to myself, holy mackerel there, Andy. I had studied with some of them hippie folk down in Tampa and around Florida and around in places, you know. I hadn't made it up to New York and all them places as hippie. But I made it all around a lot of Florida, all over Tampa, St. Pete and places, you know. Did I know everything? No. Do I know everything now? Yeah, I do, but I just play them. Uh-oh, something broke. What was that? Oh, that hurt. So, Oh man, I don't know what. Oh, can I rewind this and say what we're doing? Oh shoot. Well, doggone it. Talking about trees, talking about moving up here, talking about the dude. Oh yeah, your brain knowing. Oh, the hoodoo voodoo. Yeah. Okay. So in today's messages and things, if you look on, go to YouTube, go through some of my like videos, go to some of the ones that I subscribe to. Some of these folks are into what normal folks would say is, "Ooh, that's hoodoo voodoo," meaning that it's in the woo area of thinking. And what does that mean? Well, that means that somebody's got a different kind of attitude. That Mother Earth is actually alive. What? Mother Earth is actually alive. Right. She's a living entity, and we are a bunch of nasty little ants crawling around on top of her, and she is not happy with all this drilling and fraction and all this weirdness. Ain't happy at all, I gotta tell you. So now I knew in the Boy Scouts how to respect Mother Earth, and I have done so all my life. I'll pick up other people's trash on the side of the road. I recycle everything when I can. I do my best to take my little plot of 19 acres here and whatever's connoisseur adjoining, and let's take care of it. However, when there are forces way above you now, and I'm not talking about I ain't talking about our space brothers and sisters. I'm talking about idiots from our, wait, now I got to get this off. The other government. I'm going to call them the others. Because, you see, one of the things, that's what I want to talk about. AI, yeah. We're going to have to make this the second one. So, I learned respect as a Boy Scout. Had it all my life. Still so much respect. And now what are people telling you to do? If you're in a stressful situation, and you're, the horn blanking, beeping, blanking, what do they tell you to do? The best thing for you, man, it's all over the place. What are they telling you? Go out to nature. Go out and sit under a tree. And go out and be with the tree. I was doing that in 1968. Okay, communing with the tree. I'm not talking about just sitting under, but I would say earlier, but actually I did, but I can't give you a year. But let's just, 1966, I had a revelation. And it was talking to a tree. Now, it has since increased, and I really understand what that means. And what it is, and what I've been talking about since 71, is quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement. Yep. Because if you sit down, and everybody knows now we got an aura. Everybody knows that with this aura, we can spread that aura around us to include other things, right? And so to sit down with a tree has an aura. All plants, everything has an aura. Everything has a frequency. So if you sit down next to a big old tree or a little one, and I speak out loud because I want my brain to hear it, and I want anything in and around me to hear it as well, not just a mental thing. So I say out loud, "Hi, Mr. Tree, how are you today?" Like I was speaking to an individual, which I am. And I said, "Thank you very much. You have beautiful bark and your shade is wonderful. I might ask if I can sit underneath you and share your energy." You ask. Don't just do it. That's rude. Now you can, but it's a whole lot better if you ask first. Because it's by asking, the tree's listening. And they've proven that now, that plants hear us. You can kill a plant with talking to it nasty, or make it thrive if you give it praise every day. which I got some plants I got to water and praise some more. But the respect. So the people in this world right now today, you know, they're telling us to do what I did growing up as a child. And my parents sort of did. And their parents sort of did. Well, their parents sort of did. They grew up with wood stoves. See, I didn't. We had electric stove. I got a wood stove. Now, I went backwards. I didn't go forward. Now, do I have technology? Absolutely. And are little solar lights just absolutely wonderful? Absolutely. Can you repurpose them and do other things with them? Absolutely. Now, people tell me, say, "Oh, that making out of them silicone things, oh, it's polluting the air." Well, I tell you what, I used to burn the lights. If I need to go to the shed or something like that, you know, I used to turn a light on out there. I'd leave it on. Well, that burned a big electricity. Well, now I got a battery, and I got a lamp, and it's got a solar cell on it. And when it gets nighttime, the light comes on. And when the battery runs down, usually by morning, the light goes off. Well, I don't care about morning. The sun comes back out, charges the battery back up, and we go back to this again. Now, what is wrong with that? So, but you do the pollution one time. And if you be like me, anytime I buy a yard light or I see one or anything that's got a solar or something on it, I take them things off. Why? Because they always work. I've got some old solar cells I found in a box with a old 25, 30 year ago crank solar battery thing. And I got something I gotta pick about that one these days too. But the solar panels, even on the old calculators, I saved them too and took them apart. And I started checking on them. You know what? All of these work. And they all relatively put out. Now I'm talking about like the solar calculators and the single yard light, not the more heavy duty bigger ones now, just the small single $1.50 ones. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Those put out, let's see, I was surprised. I think it was about, with full sunlight, it was about almost 2.5, 3 volts. I was really shocked. And I was like, yeah, but my battery is only 1.2 volts. Well, you overcharge it to charge it. If it was the same voltage, it would never charge up, hardly. So they got these little circuit boards that, man, now little dinky things, man. Oh my, I used to have one. Is that thing still up here? Hang on. I might have one right here. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, because I was going to do a demonstration. Well, here we go. Here's demonstration time. Yep. All right, here we go. So this one was $2.50. All right, this was on Walmart. Now I took it apart. All right, it didn't come this way. However, now on this particular model, I don't know how good you can see that. Oh, that's pretty good. Now let's see, where's them tabs at? Hang on. See these little tabs right there? That's where the battery go. That's a single. Okay. So with a single battery in there, that means 1.2 on the rechargeable types. All right, now I don't know what size solar cell that is, but you can see and this is like, it's slightly bigger than the $1.50 ones. Okay, slightly. Now, what is interesting about this one, and I pulled the wires out on accident, but what was interesting to me is this little circuit board on there. See that right there? Now, there's a voltage regulator in there. I was surprised. And then there's like a little shut-off thing in there. And there's a resistor in there. And there's it knows when it's daytime, nighttime to turn off or on. What? Yeah. And it's all right there on this little chip. Now, I started pricing out some of these things because in my old retired age, I decided that I was going to study some electronics because I always fascinated me. And electronics still, I mean, everything's electronic now. And so it's like, okay, well, now I'm into low tech. How do I take old stuff and make a new tech something? Or keep it from just going damn into the landfill? You know what I'm saying? Why throw something away that still works? For real. Why throw these things away when they work? Man, if we collected all the ones that folks tote away at these things and sent them to Africa, them folks that have a lot all over the continent, I'm telling you. Because you can go in the woods with them, man. You know, the reason this is broke is because I threw my pack on it. Now, I took it, and this goes camping with me. Not this one because I broke it. But then I wanted to take it apart and see what it made out of, too. The parts, if I bought them little things right there. Now, count the battery. The battery would cost me $3. Okay. What? Right. The battery in this thing would cost me $3. $1.50 if I bought like 20 of them. Okay. And I'm talking about wholesale, find them on the internet kind of thing, right? Not in regular store because they don't sell what's in these in the regular stores. They're expensive. All right. They're the cheap ones, but they're expensive. Go figure. So now this little board right down here. Now on this particular one, and I don't think you can see it real clear, and it doesn't really matter. It's on there. It is a voltage regulator. Now it takes anything that is over a certain value. Okay, so 2 volts is what this thing. I can't tell you exactly. Just hang with me. This thing puts out like 2.5 volts. And my battery's only 1.5. Actually, 1.2. So there's a shut-off thing in this thing that when the voltage gets to 1.2 on the battery, it shuts itself off. It redirects the energy. It just says, oh, we're full, and bypasses the solar energy. It keeps working. It just ain't going nowhere. It's not being stored. Now, I checked all these little things in here, you know, and the little circuit board and everything. Now, the battery, if you got a bunch of money and had a whole box of these things, like I said, maybe $1.50. The little chip in there was $2.50. There's another little chip in there. It was $1.50. And then the board, well, I couldn't find the board. I was going to have to make one, but to get that stuff would be about $3. And then there was the wires, and then there's the screws, and then there's now the solar panel itself. This little thing right there, it was $3. This thing cost $2.50. It was on sale at Walmart because it was the end of the season, right? And so, like at the end of Christmas, go in and buy all the Christmas lights that look like this. Who cares they look like Christmas? And they got some of these on them, and when I get my check, that's where I'm headed. Now, I try to buy at least one of these a month. And you go, well, Hawkeye, why? Well, because if I buy one a month, I get an extra battery. I get an extra solar cell. I get the extra electronics on the inside, because what I'm trying to do is I want to use the sun and some of these with another solar bank that I got. I purchased it. And so that I can charge up a 24 volt battery from the sun, right? Now I got this one, and if I have read the instruction clearly, I fried 2 batteries because I didn't know that the thing was putting out 24 volts on a full sunny day. So in the middle of summertime, I got my battery sitting out there thinking, oh man, it's charging up. I was burning them things to death over voltage. Why? Because here's 12 volts. Whoops, excuse me, 24 volt panel. Because it needs more in order to charge that 12. It doesn't come with a voltage regulator. Nope. It doesn't come with directions on where to get one. Nope. So a lot of people, they'd be frying their batteries, their 12 volt batteries with a 24 volt solar panel. Now, I was surprised that this one had more than 1.2 volts on it. It was like 3 volts, or what's that, 3.7? Anyway, so these things are a lot more powerful as far as a volt goes. Now, I'm still learning about this stuff, but milliamps. Uh, and I'm going to put it to you sort of like this. It's not exactly correct, but sort of. My well got 40 pounds of pressure on it, right? Which is like normal standard tank pressure, right, for the house. So, oh man, I don't know if that's the right one or not. I have 40 pounds of pressure up there. But if I try to run into a little old tiny little hose like that, it's going to have 40 pounds of pressure. By the time it comes out that little hole, it's either going to spew like a dickens or it's just going to trickle some. It ain't going to really come out like it should. And so it slow it down, right, because of the size of the hole. Well, that's kind of sort of what's going on. So they give something that's too big so that you will always have enough. In other words, 3 volts when all you need is 1.5. But the 3 volt, it makes sure if the sun goes down, which it do, or a cloud goes by, and then it ain't 3 volt no more, it's like 2. And if it gets overcast, then it starts dropping down to 1.8 as far as collecting power, because I've been testing them, right? And so I'm like, so these things put out twice as much because it needs it to charge the battery in case of clouds, shade, other normal things. Now, this is just a normal yard light. They don't go into all this stuff. This is stuff I learned on my own. All right? Just by tinkering and going, wonder what this is. And I got a couple of folks on my YouTube channel like Big Clive and I think it's Ludic Science or something like that. These guys, they tinker with stuff that's really good. I think it's Big Clive. I love listening to that guy talk, man. He tears stuff apart all the time. I love it. And he has given me some wonderful tips for me to, if I don't know it and he didn't tell me, he gave me an idea where to go look. So bless your heart there. Now I'm gonna shut this one down, but I'm gonna wrap up what I've been talking about. And you say, what that got to do with your main title of Obama and and this new law that they just passed? Honey child, let me tell you something. Every single thing that goes on TV now, it pretty much is anyway. But I mean, you heard of mind control. And most of you have been. And the reason I got out of the mind control was because I went and stayed in the swamp. I live down here in the swamp. Yeah, I get TV, but I don't get cable. Don't want it. I got the internet. I can watch any dang thing I want to, and be crazy about it. But here's something that, there are a lot of independent producers out there. We're like, okay, me. Now, you say, okay, Uncle Dave, you ain't really said much. You rambled on. Well, that's why I call it Midnite Ramblings. But I touch on a lot of different things, and they're all true. Okay? At least from my perspective. Now, there's no way that I want to make up a lie. And if I tell you a story, I'll tell you it's a story. Or that I'm making this mess up. Man, I done lost it. Oh, wrap it up. The CIA and the NSA and all of the branches, like 11, 12 of these folks, are now going to be in control with money. Before, Obama signed some stuff and they passed an act a few years ago. I think it was 2010. It was like an addendum to the Patriot Act kind of deal. Well, this is another addendum to wrap it up. And they're saying that my speaking to you about this and the consequences that it might have, I am a terrorist. I am on their watch list. And because I stayed in here that I'm a hippie also and that I'm a redneck, which to them probably means that I've got a gun because I said redneck. I don't have a gun. And I'm a hippie and I must be growing weed. That's not true either. Now, though they used to be true 20 years ago, but they are not true now. Now, so with this said, though, yeah, if they hadn't flew over my house with a helicopter and busted me for 6 damn plants in a bucket, I could have a gun, and I could still grow, but I don't. Either one ain't gonna go there. So if anybody come to my house and say, ha ha ha, we're gonna find a gun hidden in your house. No, you ain't. You're gonna find a starter pistol with blanks. And that's exactly what it is. It's a starter pistol. However, we used to do a lot of theater, and so there were a lot of shows I was in where I needed a real cap gun. In other words, so this uses 22 blanks, and it sounds 22. It's that loud. So you think you're getting shot at. And sometimes that's all the inclination that somebody needs is the fact that you might be shooting at them for real. Now, I ain't got no gun. I really don't want to shoot anybody, but if someone come in my house, there's all other kinds of stuff that you're going to have to contend with. That's all I'm going to say about that. But they're all natural things. I mean, stuff I can make in my house. I can take a string and a piece of wood and make a bow and arrow. And it'll hurt you, kill you. All right, so Obama, though, when he signed this law, now Congress passed it. It went to the Senate, and they passed it. And then it went to a committee, and they all passed it again. And they sent it to Obama, and he signed it. And then it went back to him, and they went, yeah, okie dokie. Them folks can tell me to go to hell and shut this channel down for just me talking about old hippie stuff. They can also, because I'm talking old hippie stuff at Mother Earth and that we need to, go back to our old Constitution. And, because I said Constitution, now I'm really on the list. And I do consider myself a patriot. At least I thought so back when I was a Boy Scout, Cub Scout stuff, when patriotism really meant something and you saluted. Now, we had our Boy Scout uniforms on and we were allowed to salute. Yes, sir, standard attention. I was proud, too. And I was patrol leader of my in my group. And I wasn't stern, but I made, hey, get in line. Come on now. But rather than being a mean person, I was like, man, come on. We got to do this right. I was always trying to, because I'm a Libra, I was always trying to compromise. Now, I see that there in this world today, that there are plenty of places to compromise. Folks just don't care. They'd rather holler at me. You old hippie. What the hell are you? Well, you don't know me. You don't have any idea of what I've worked on. If you'd have to watch my videos to get at least an inkling of where I'm coming from. Watch about 2 or 3 back where I talk about engineering and stuff and metals and material and processes and stuff. Well, a lot of stuff I know. I'm not bragging. It's just my life. That's what happened, and this is what come in, and this is the memories I got, and that's the knowledge that I've acquired. And older folks, if they've been around and worked in different places, even if they worked in the same place, they have picked up a lot. Now, you just pick it up by association because you live in. And at least you live down in the swamp like I did. I still do, but the swamp is, actually we got some rain the other day. The swamp's looking good. Better, actually. I hope it ain't going to save no trees, but, And you can't get down the river no more because there's so many trees fell in off the banks. It really is horrible. Ain't seen a fish in that river in years, Can't fish in it. Ain't nothing there. And then I don't know if I'd want to eat it anyway because of all of the poultry pollution around here. All right, so I'm going to wrap this one up. Now, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do another one because I'm on a roll. And I'm going to stop this one because I get too long-winded and folks don't want to watch that long mess. So I'm going to do my best and I'm going to try to come back in here and be a little bit more Pacific. So, wrapping this up, the bill that passed, they put $611 billion into that defense package, which says to these folks now because they all passed this law. They can look at us, and if they don't like anything that we say, bam, they cut you off the air. It happened tonight with this Truth Revelation folks. I'm watching it. They started talking about guillotines. Roku shut down. I had to reboot. What? It was okay after that point. So they started talking about guillotines. Shut down. And what's going to happen now, because now that I really got the authority, they can hire 1 million people to do this and spy on the rest of us. That's insanity. Not counting the AI that's watching. And they're fine-tuning it. But you see, now I got some suggestions about AI, and that's what I want to talk about in my next video. So the next one coming up, unless I get slapped on the way downstairs getting more coffee, hope I don't, I'm going to discuss the ways I believe that we can get around the AI because of how the AI was programmed. We can get around. It has to do with words. Because the computer was taught words. The computer was taught phrases. So if you do not use those trigger words, key phrases, and in some instances now with video, they're going to be like signs and stuff. Now, I'm probably sure that, like, if I was to, if I hold this up, just because it's an old Ubuntu disk, and if I hold this up, and I don't know if the computer can read a picture. All right, you get what I'm saying? So yeah, okay, there's faces, and I'm sure it probably when the video goes by, they're probably scanning the people on that on this thing. Oh, they're relatives of mine. See, but can AI pick up? Get this, a nuance. Can a computer detect sarcasm? No? Maybe? Can it detect anger? For example, I don't wish this on anybody, all right? So I got to try to make sure I ain't thinking about anybody I want to kill. I mean, okay, I'm going to make up an entity because I don't want to think about a person thing or whatever. There's an entity that has appeared, and it is going to harm my family. All right, now, I don't wish to harm anything. But if something's going to harm me or my family, I want to stop it. Now, does that mean that I want to kill it? Not necessarily. But I don't want it to hurt anybody that I know. I don't want it to hurt me. I don't want it, you know what I'm saying? So the first thing, and it has gotten way out of control, the first thing is kill first and then ask questions. No, we can't do that. We have been really programmed wrongly here on this. When I was growing up, it was stop or I'll shoot, not bang, bang, bang. Oh, are you dead yet? No, it was a shot in the air to get their attention. Now they just pow, 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 and shoot at them, kill them, dead, drop them. And it ain't one shot, not like back in the days of Dirty Harry. It's 5, 6, 7, 9 rounds in a 9mm. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Where am I headed with this? Our thought patterns, our speech pattern. And if I say, I'm okay, make up, take one. That son of a bitch that broke in my house the other night. I want to kill that son of a bitch. I'm going to string him up and I'm going to kill him. You understand me? And take one. Okay, so now the computer hears the words sees it, however it interprets it. However, and I'm sure they got it, but that it's also going to pick up my wave form on how I spoke those words. Okay. So if I said that, they're going to go, AI is listening, going, oh man, when he said that, he was really mad because of the modulation when he said those words. What if you just said, in a sing-song way, take two. There was an evil, wicked, mean, and nasty broke in my house last night, and he tried to kill everybody there, and I chased him away. And take two. Now, if you change your tonality, now I know I didn't repeat myself, and I should have wrote it down. But if you sing-song the words versus be angry and highly modulate those words when you speak them, like, and I'm pissed. Don't get me wrong. I'm pissed they passed this law. Every single one of them congressmen needs to go. Now, did they see that? Did they see that, Mark? What did it mean? I could have been scratching my neck. Do they interpret that as what? Cut? Like, cut? Like in theater? Cut? Like I did. Scene change? Okay. Cut. Do I mean go cut their throat? No. Do I mean cut their political business and throw them in jail? Oh, yeah. Because they're crooks. They threw me in jail for growing a damn plant. By myself, in the woods. They threw me in jail. Have I been a political prisoner? Yes, sir. All of my life since 1980 something back there. No, wait. No, that was seven. Never mind. I've been a political prisoner. Why? Because they busted me for a weed that I was growing for myself, for my own personal, because of my history of epilepsy. I can't buy it on the street, don't want to go on the street and buy it, because then you really being a criminal. So I was growing my own for my own sake in my own place on my own home. They flew over in a helicopter, saw it, come in, arrested me, and, facing 20 years for that shit. For a plant. But didn't harm nobody. I wasn't near nobody. Wasn't trying to throw a gun. Wasn't trying to start a business. I was minding my own dang business. They interfered. And you go, Hawkeye, what's that got to do with this new law? Listen, y'all. If they could fly over my house and see a couple plants in 5-gallon buckets and call in the posse and haul my ass to jail, lock, stock, key, want to take my property for a couple of damn plants. You don't think that if they think you being a threat online and you talking to folks and you got the potential of talking to 1 million people, they don't think that's a threat? If they'll spend $25,000 for a damn helicopter in my backyard for a couple of damn marijuana plants back then, you don't think they'll do that shit now? They got $611 billion with a B dollars now to play with. $611 billion to spy on us and shut us down. They just signed a bill. Don't look at me. I didn't do it. But we need to stop it. We need to repeal that law and go, And we need to take the people who signed their name to that thing, and we need to take them out and whack them. And I mean with a board. And okay, wait. Let me back up. When I went to Tampa Catholic, if you did something wrong and they needed to punish you, they had a big butt paddle. And it was called Big Mo. Had Big Mo ruled on it. And we had one of our he was a line coach. Nice man. 300 pounds, or it was actually better than that, but huge. And all he had to do was swing once. Mine, us little old skinny ass kids, shoot, he sent me over the table one time with a whack. So we'd have to take our report cards down to the gym. And before we could play, we had to turn in our report cards. And if you got a D or an F, whack time. Whack time. Or if you did something and you misbehaved, the punishment was Big Mo. So when I say whack with a board, I'm thinking Big Mo. Okay? And maybe I should make a representative of Big Mo. Because some of these people, they need whacked. They need to be bent over a damn chair and they need their hinds whooped because they're acting like spoiled brats. And a spoiled brat, when it gets too far, you got to bring him down. If he just got to the point where it ain't nothing else, then you're going to have to tie him down and beat out of him. Because you got to show them that you the boss, not them. And sometimes the only way is to just beat the crap out of them. I swear. You gotta just, I don't know, sometime any other way. Because they will always think that no matter what, they are always better, always. And until they get the ass kicked and you stand over them and go, okay, now are you true? Are you going to fight anymore? Well, what this law does, that is passed, it gives them the right to hire people to come and kick your ass. And if you don't comply, then they will throw you in the FEMA camp for the reprogram. And I told you, what did Hillary say? Oh, some of these people need to go to a daycare. Now, do they know what my facial expression meant just then? I don't know. So I mix up my facial working thingies. I don't care if they look at my face. Because I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff. And that's my thing to you. Your tone of voice and your choice of verbiage. See, I could have said word there, but I said verbiage instead. So now, if the AI is watching me and they're looking at my language going by and they got verbiage, where the hell did that come from? He could have said word right there. Yeah, I could have. Now, does that throw up a red flag? No, because the word verbiage, I mean, come on, that takes up a lot, right? So you go, all right. Well, now, if I say I want to kick that mofo's butt, kick mofo butt, especially if it was in a line, the AI goes, ooh, flag. So, what do? You can think you want to kick his butt, and you could even reference, in them old days, that's something else I would have done. But then you say something like, however, I feel differently about things now, and I'm going to treat them in a different way. So now whoever listening to you going, well, he said in the old days he would have kicked the butt. But now, because he's learned, he's going to try another way. Now, if you listen to what I just said, there was nothing negative in them sentences. I said, we are in the past. I used to. Okay. And I didn't say what? React or use verbiage in a different way. But now, but now I have learned, surprising, I have learned to deal with these things in a different way. That's not exactly what I said, but you get the idea. Now, the idea with that is that, how smart is that AI? Now, my inflection was very calm. I did not get upset when I said what I just said about I deal with things in a different way. Now, if I'd have said, back in them days, yeah, we were done something different like that. I've learned now. Now I'm going to deal with it in a different way. Oop. And to take 3. Inflection. Kind of sort of the same words. But anybody listening would go, that guy's got malintent. He might not have malintent, but his voice said so. So with this voice recognition and all these programs and with AI listening, it has programmed us to be negative. It has programmed us for our facial expressions to be different when we say things. So that if I'm giving a big butt smile when I say, I think them guys really ought to have the butts white. It's different. Oop, oop. And to take 4. Take 5. It's different than, boy, I can't wait. I show kick their butts. And to take whatever. Inflection. So I want to say to you YouTubers out there, I bet you none of you guys listen to me, but if you do, pay attention. The way they're going to nail you is the fact that you will refuse to change your verbiage. You will refuse to, I'm going to say what I want, how I say it, when I say it. I agree with you. However, they just passed a law and they've been training AI. And if I were you, I would be careful in how I said it. Stay away from negatives. See, I said, stay away from negatives. I could have said, don't use negative words. Well, don't is a really negative. I didn't use it, even though that's what I meant. You can change your verbiage and literally tear somebody to shreds. I think it was in Steve Martin when he did the nose. I can't think of the name of the movie now. The character, big long nose. Anyway, it's rolling around back there. To the point, there was somebody that was giving him grief, and he came back with some wonderful quips that were, didn't call him. Okay, hold your ears. A batshit crazy asshole. Okay. Or worse, an MF, blah, 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 blah. So that, and I think it was in the very beginning of the movie, that little part right there shows, at least to me, I need to find that movie out, that our choice of words can be more destructive by using words other than negatives. See how I went around that one? And it helps you get your brain, thinking in a different way. That you could tear a mountain down by using a different verbiage. Your stellar performance tonight was the best I've seen of 4 drunk hobos. Now, okay, and it'd take 6. You could have been one to tell somebody that they sucked, but instead you said that their performance was great, as good as 4 drunk hobos. So you can positively give somebody a negative by referring like, okay, like uh, you're painting, take 7. Oh, you painted that man's house the other day. Your paint job was so great that even the yard out to the street was painted. Fantastic. The rest of the neighborhood should do so. Now, okay, you go, what did she just say? I was thinking of a lady coming up and talking to me about my job. Okay. So, uh, so she comes up to me and she's, well, what does she mean that I painted so well all the way out to the road? What it means is we were sloppy. We had stuff all over the yard, and that actually it spilled out onto the street. Now, did she call me a name? Eh. But if I was smart, I would go, well, she just cut me down. She said my paint job was great, and maybe the house was. However, the rest of it sucked. But that's not what she said. She didn't say it sucked in those words. She said the whole neighborhood should make their yards look white like the house, Oh, we should match your yard like you match the house. What? See, that's a bad example of that coming off the top of my head, but hopefully you will get the idea. We can speak negatively and get a point very well across without going, no, stop. Stop. We have to use that word. But, you're a butthole. Well, maybe you're an anal orifice instead. Well, so the folks who pass this law, they have an anal orifice where their mouth is. You see? Did I create a negative? Nope. But I'm referring to their mouthpiece as being nothing comes out but, because that's all that comes out of butthole mostly. So, to my friends and neighbors, I love you all, and I do. I love you, AI. I love you, Google. I love you, Chrome, and especially when you fix your bugs. I love you all across America, especially, I start there because I know folks here. And then I'm going to move to Mexico and Canada and South America and around the world. I love you all, and I'm not joking. Because we should love one another, and I want to pass this love on to you. I do. With a smile, with a happy thought. We can beat these folks at the wrong game. We can. We've got to stand up. We got to be smart about this because they done went 10 degrees smarter than we are right now. And rather than get all goofy headed and scream, we need to scream correctly. Or learn how to scream correctly. Come by and speak to me. Hang out with me. I'm going to be coming up with some other stuff. How you scream at AI without being negative. I love you all. Thank you if you're still with me. Thank you. Hit the subscribe because I say they're going to run ads, but until I get 1,000 subscribers, they're not going to pay me. But they're going to run ads anyway. What the hell? So they're going to make money off of 20 people to watch. But I don't get the money. Because it's got to be 1,000 subscribers first. So I get 999 and I don't get a dime. But they get to run their ads. YouTube, I know you got to make a dime. But this poor old Joe out here, I got teeth that are broke off of my gum and I could use some money. And I don't mean to go buy a trip or nothing. I mean, fix my mouth so I don't die the next time I get an infection in my brain. So, you get off your butts and quit stop with this mess about paying a little measly something to us poor folk out here. If you're going to use my content for any reason whatsoever, then you should pay me for that. Or maybe I should not monetize until I get 1,000 subscribers. That's the ticket. See, all right, there's a way around these stuff without calling them bad names. But the names I can call them are like a egotistic or over-the-top mentality that should be flushed into a commode out to sea. I love you all. Cheers. Thumbs up. Jesus, Buddha, if you follow them too, either one, you will have the light inside of you. All right? I ain't saying the rest ain't bad, but if you just take them two, we're all going to be okay. I love you all. And I'm going to go take a break, and I'm going to come back and do a second section to this, separate from this. That's going to talk more about AI.